So as we said at the beginning, today we celebrate the feast of the birth of Mary in the church today. Today we celebrate all kinds of feasts in the church, and we celebrate feasts for all kinds of things. So we celebrate feasts or important days for saints and for martyrs, people who've given their lives radically for their faith. We celebrate feasts for events, things that have happened, for mysteries of our faith. So things like Christmas and Easter and Pentecost. Important events within the life of the church as to why we're even here today. And every day of life is important, but there are certain days that are especially important. And so today we celebrate this feast that celebrates the birth of a baby, the baby of Mary, which is Jesus' mother. Now let's really think about it. Why we're here today, the origin of our faith, the origin of our church, is because we acknowledge the birth and the existence of two babies. Kind of interesting. The most important baby being Jesus, right? Because Jesus grew up, and he was the Son of God. He was God himself, and he grew up, and he gave his life for us on the cross, and thus made salvation possible for us. So, most important baby. But Jesus, the baby, wouldn't have been possible if he hadn't come from Mary, who was also, at one point in her life, a baby. So it's just kind of crazy to think about, that our faith isn't just about, thoughts and feelings and experiences. Those things are good and important, and we have those, and we'll have those throughout this year as we come here to pray, as we learn about God, in our religion classes. But our faith really is about persons and events, things that actually happened in history, that God chose to come among us, to exist with us as a human being, to live a life just like you and I live. And so, first he became a baby. Has anyone here held a baby before? Maybe? You've been around a baby before, right? Anyone held a baby? Well, it's a pretty awesome and a beautiful and just a joyful experience, to be around a baby and to hold a baby. Because they're so little, and they're so attentive to just everything that's around them. Everything is new, everything is interesting. And they're so interested in you when you're holding them. I have a few friends who have just had kids born within the past year or so, and I love just being around them and their kids and playing with all the toys and just being around them. It's just a great time. Yet, we know that babies aren't always fun to be around. Sometimes, sometimes they're cranky. Sometimes they scream a little bit. Sometimes they have to go to a bathroom at a pretty inconvenient time. But regardless of these things, babies are beautiful little miracles. They are gifts from God. And I think that's what I want to focus on today. That to think about how great the gift of life is. It's something we may not think about that much. But our lives that we have are really a gift. Sometimes, as we're going through life, we can kind of get bogged down by all kinds of things. Sometimes we're angry. Sometimes we're stressed and anxious. Maybe we struggle with, who we are, like the personality that we have. Maybe we don't have all the things that we want in life. But regardless of those things, each one of us is a beautiful gift and a miracle from God. Just in the fact that we exist, just because we are. Because while we came from a gift of love from our parents, ultimately we come from the gift of love of God. That God chose us. God wanted us to be. He wanted each one of us to exist. And that's what each baby, that's what each person is. A unique and unrepeatable expression of God's love. Have you ever thought about that? That you are a gift that's unrepeatable. So there's never going to be another you ever again. You are the only you. and that you is beautiful, whether you have a good hair day or not, whether things are going well in life or not. Life is a beautiful gift. So I think that can maybe lead us to ask a question. So if life is beautiful and life is a gift, do we always treat life as a beautiful gift? Do we treat other people in our life as a beautiful gift? Because sometimes, babies cry. Sometimes babies go to the bathroom at inconvenient times. Sometimes babies, if they eat lunch too quickly, they puke all over you. I can personally attest to that. It happens. But even though these things happen, a parent wouldn't ignore a baby, just because they, kind of become troublesome or become a problem. A good parent will help a baby no matter what, because they see that they are beautiful and good. Well, what about us? And what about, when we get older? Maybe there are people around us that we don't particularly like or care for, we don't get along with. Maybe it's one of our siblings, maybe it's one of our friends or our classmates. Maybe we don't like their personality, or maybe we don't like, the way they look or the way they act. Or maybe their breath smells, on the bus ride in the morning or something. I don't know. Even though these things might be true in some way, they don't define any person. That each person is just good because they are, even if we don't like them and we don't get along with them. We should always love all the people around us, to always treat them the best that we can, to do what's best for them, because they are the same gift that exists, that we also are to them. So today, as we remember the gift of life, as we remember Mary's birth, Jesus' birth, let us rejoice in the gift of life, the fact that we just are today. Give thanks for the gift of Mary and Jesus' life, ultimately because Jesus gave us a salvation. And as we celebrate Mass today, as we receive the Eucharist, as we receive Jesus in his body, his blood, his soul, his divinity, let us ask for the grace, for the help to see the beauty of our lives, so that we can help others to see the beauty of their lives.